In today's video, traders, we're going to be talking about the Breakout Super Scanner. This is a tool myself and my team have put together. A lot of energy, a lot of time has gone into building this particular tool. But before we get too far into the video, please take a moment to review our disclaimer. Remember that Forex trading involves risk and any amount of money can be lost when trading financial markets. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what exactly we're going to be talking about in this video. Well, first of all, we want to talk about what is the Breakout Super Scanner. You can see here it on the right. It's got that fancy kind of panel there on the top left of the chart there. But what exactly is it and how does it work? Well, it's a breakout super scanner for a reason. It scans the markets for potential breakout setups, which we'll get more into in a second. But we're also going to cover some trading examples, and we're going to talk about some results of this sort of tool and why I personally love using this to help me find good setups in the market for my particular trading style, which is short-term breakouts in the market, right? So this tool is specifically designed for primarily originally my team to use for trading breakouts, but now I've opened it up to the public. This is something that I've worked quite a bit to get ready for the public, and we're going to get into more information about it. So what exactly do we need in terms of an account size, a broker, that sort of thing? We're going to get into those concepts as well. So what is the Breakout Super Scanner? Well, the Breakout Super Scanner is a MT4 expert advisor, as you probably saw on the screen in the last slide. It's built to find potential breakout trading setups that can give us an edge or give us a good possibility of finding some really good moves in the market. It identifies both counter trend and trend trading breakout opportunities. It can alert the user via email or MT4 alerts of setups, which helps automate a lot of the process of finding good setups. This tool will basically only send you stuff because it's programmed, right? It's not going to do any sort of emotional stuff. It's going to take some of the emotion out, and it's going to send you alerts for possibly some of the best breakout strategy setups that I personally have come across. It's also going to watch for setups on up to 8 charts at once. And I'm not just talking currencies, I'm talking anything on MetaTrader 4. So if you have gold, if you have oil, whatever you'd like to put, you can put into the chart and into the watch list. The system here will watch it and alert you of the setups that you have programmed it in to do. It's very configurable. You can set things as you like. What this is probably the most important thing to me is this reduces a lot of time looking for setups. And as I mentioned previously, it also removes a lot of emotion from finding those setups. Sometimes people are, they struggle with emotions when they're trading. And if that's you, that's partially why I use software to help me find setups rather than trying to look for them myself. Sometimes the best way is to have a robot that just knows exactly what you've programmed to look for, and it finds those sorts of setups so that you don't have it kind of so discretionarily based. I don't know if that's a word, but you guys get the point. So here it is. This is an actual representation or a visual of what the tool actually looks like. You can see there it is up in the top left. It's got orange and black, and you can see that essentially we have a very simple layout here. You have the currency pair that it's currently looking at. You can see over on the left there the different watch list components or currencies that we currently have in the bot. These can be changed, right? So if you wanted to change one of those to XAU USD, you can configure that in the configuration. We have the time frame that we're looking at, which can be changed. You can scan for any time frame. We have the trend. It tells you the direction up or down on those particular markets, talking about that time frame. And you also get the signal, which is of course what everybody's after, right? You can see that currently we have dollar Canadian here open on the chart. This is a dollar CAD pair. You can see it's highlighted there in white. And this is showing that we have a short CTB. More on exactly what CTB is later, but for short, it is CTB, counter trend break. So see how price is breaking to the downside right there. Well, this bot is alerting us that we have a potential counter trend break going on dollar Canadian. You can see down at the bottom there, if we were to pull up GBP JPY, which we'll do an example in a bit, you can see that would have a long counter trend break, meaning that the trend is down, but the price is breaking to the upside. Okay, so here we are. We're taking a look at the tool on an actual MT4 platform. And I wanted to take the chance to just kind of show you guys this tool in action. If we switch through some of the time frames, you can see everything is updating on the panel as we go through. Things are changing, things are updating, it's all flashing, and it's kind of cool looking just going through it, but you guys get the point. You can see the different trade alerts and signals that are coming out on the different time frames. Now, the time that I'm making this is late in the evening and the markets are not very active right now, but we still do see some signals here that we could take a look at, for example. So we're looking here at the 30-minute time frame. Again, I can mention that you can use this tool on any time frame, but we're using the 30-minute here just for sake of example. Dollar Swiss is a chart here, and we're not currently on Dollar Swiss. We're currently open to dollar yen, but instead of going and finding that tool, all we have to do is click the open button. That was a super useful trick that I didn't even know you could program, but I'm super excited that I found that. Dollar Swiss, you can see we can go through any of these charts, but Dollar Swiss, we have a long counter trend break. What this means is that currently the market is trending to the downside. You can see we have a very clean kind of downtrend going on in this market, but it looks like the market is trying to trade higher. It's trying to break out to the long side here. And the idea here is that the tool has scanned and found this setup for us so that we don't have to go and look through a million charts to get this concept. The tool is sitting here live updating, and you can see that, again, we have this concept where price is breaking through that trend line. We're starting to see a counter trend break. And let's say that we wanted to get a little bit more information about this particular signal that the bot has told us. Well, we just go up here to the info tab, click that, and take a look. Now we have a bunch of information on the actual signal being presented. The current signal is a long counter trend break information, delivered down below here, signal, okay? Dollar Swiss is possibly breaking out counter trend. The trend is down, but price is breaking to the upside, and that might mean that we see a continuation. So that's what this tool has scanned for us. It's found this automatically. So the counter trend break, we have a little information here again about the different callouts. We have a long CTB, a long counter trend break, and the high is, you can see we've got the high of the last 7 bars there, and we have the low as well. And so what we see is that for the most part, we also have information on the trend. The trend is to the downside. The 20 SMA is below the 50, so we do have a downtrend still. And that just gives us a little bit more information about the signal itself. And then we can just navigate back over to the panel to see what else is going on. And again, if we wanted to take a look at other charts or time frames, we just click around here. For example, let's see if we can find some other signal. Again, the markets are very quiet, but New Zealand dollar, for example, is saying right now, this is the 5-minute chart, so it might look a little spotty, but if we go to New Zealand dollar, go to short CTB, well, there's another example of a trending market to the upside, right? And it looks like price is breaking through to the lows, right? So we have a market that's breaking up, and it looks like the market may be rolling over. Well, maybe not, because the signal just went away, but you guys get the point. This is the 5-minute chart, which is going to be very, very quick paced, but on different time frames, you're going to have longer term and shorter term signals being sent out by the bot that, again, can be sent by email or MetaTrader 4, or you can just visually look when you're ready to trade for potential signals that the bot is telling you. So it's very, very quick to just find potential setups happening on the markets setting up. How does it actually work? Well, the robot uses a simple trend filter first, okay? As we mentioned previously, you can see there are a couple moving averages here on the chart so that we can visually see this. But the idea here is that the trend is going to first identify the dominant market direction. Very simple stuff here, guys, nothing crazy. If the fast, simple moving average is above the slow moving average, this is considered an uptrend. And if the fast moving average is traveling underneath the slow moving average, this is considered a downtrend. Very simple, but it's going to be the first component to finding these breakout setups. Next, we have the robot computing the high and low of the last in bars back. Now that may sound a little bit confusing, but let me unpack it here for you for a second. Essentially, you can see on the right side of the screen right now, I have an indicator. This indicator is also going to be given to you for free when you purchase the system. This is available inside the folder that you'll receive. This indicator is simply going to visually represent what I'm talking about. The robot computes the last in number of bars. You could set this to whatever you want. If you wanted to set it by default, it's at 7. You can change it to 10, whatever you'd like. And what this is going to do is it's going to find the recent high and the recent low of the range. Now, when price starts to break out of this range, that is what's going to give us a signal. Okay, and that's why the scanner is watching 8 pairs at once or 8 charts at once to see if things are breaking out of this. Also, is it breaking above or below in favor of an up or down trend? Are we going counter trend? All of those things are going to be included in the signal information. So it's going to use the number of bars that you set it in configuration. Again, you can change that to be longer term, shorter term, however you see fit. So let's talk a little bit about the signals themselves. I've zoomed in here on the right. You can see the actual kind of the panel there so that you can get a little bit more clean of a picture. But we have long and short trade setups being delivered directly to the chart. You don't have to add this onto many things because you can also see there in a second, I'll show you guys this, but you can open the different currency pairs just from clicking the open button there on the left side of the panel, which is super convenient. I figured out how to do that in the code. It was actually relatively simple. And now you can click through the charts very easily, which is extremely helpful to me, at least. I know other people might find that helpful as well. But long and short trade setups are going to come in. And as I mentioned, we have these little acronyms, CTB and TB. TB means trend breakout. Take a look on the right side of the chart there, or the panel there. You can see the signal section that we mentioned. And look on the bottom right, you have GBP, JPY printing a long signal CTB. That means that we have a long counter trend breakout potential setup. Same thing on dollar Canadian. You can see we have a short trade potentially to the downside, right? In an uptrend, we have a short CTB, meaning that the market is going down, breaking to the downside in an uptrend. This gives us a counter trend breakout. Pretty simple, but this is exactly what kind of those letters mean, CTB and TB. I mentioned configuration a few times. Let's actually take a look at what we, the owner or the user of this tool, can actually set in our configuration settings. You can see here on the screen all the different configurations, and when you do decide to purchase the tool here, you'll get information on all of these specific things in detail inside the user guide PDF. So that's going to be also helpful for you so that you know all the different components and what these things stand for. But very quickly, I'll just kind of run through some of the main ones. You have your main panel kind of information. So you have where it is on the chart, you have your stuff like that. You have the title text size. You can change the text size. You can change the coloring of the tool if you'd like it to be a different color than black and orange. Sometimes people have trouble seeing it better or worse with, different colors. Sometimes that can be helpful to change the colors there. You also have things like MT4 alerts and email alerts. So I mentioned that if you get some of these signals, you can set them to either alert you on MetaTrader 4 or even email you if you set that up. So that's kind of cool as well. That's a new feature that I have in this tool. Very useful if you want to step away from your charts, but you still want to get updates. You don't even have to be there. You can just leave the tool running and it will send you updates of what's going on. Next is in-bar length. We kind of touched on that. We're looking with the signal to determine the high and low of some number of bars. By default, this is 7. You can change it to some other period if you would like to. You also have access to trade or change the trend filter, which is going to be the 20 and the 50 by default, but you can change that to whatever you would like. I personally like to use this actually a little bit lower in time. So I'll even use something like the 10 and the 20. The watch list section. Now this is kind of cool. This is what I mentioned where you can change all of those different factors. You can change them to different charts. So if you wanted to watch gold, well, you can just swap out one of these for gold. If you want to take a look at Brent crude oil, go for it, right? That's the kind of cool thing about being able to swap those out and change your watch list, which again, will email you updates if you set it to do so, which is awesome because you don't even have to be there. You don't have to sit there and watch the charts all day long to get potential breakout setups. So let's talk about the results. This is what everybody wants to talk about. Now, remember that this tool is not actually going to be trading for you. It's not an automatic trader, but instead this tool is going to automate components of trading, right? So that's what really is valuable to me, is the fact that it can automate finding setups and it can clear some of the emotion and some of the discretion from your trading to only include finding setups that the system deems is kind of logically there, right? So sometimes people can twist it and say, well, it kind of looks like a setup. Well, this takes some of that out because it only operates off of programming and logic. So it's a tool to assist traders in finding potential breakouts. This is a tool. It's not a full automatic trader. And this is exactly how I use it myself. This tool helps me find setups. It doesn't do everything for me, right? So part of the requirements of running a tool like this is you probably want to be, decently skilled as a trader yourself so that you can actually, trade the setups that you see and trade what you like. When you agree with the setups and signals that the tool is giving you, you can actually act on them. So I have used this tool concept successfully myself in some of my trading, and we're going to get into some examples that I actually took. And you can verify this because I filmed them and shared them on my YouTube channel. So I'm not just saying I took these trades. I'm showing you guys trades that came directly from this YouTube channel, and I can even link them in the video here so that you could check those out. But we had a couple trades. Here's an example of a counter trend breakout signal. Very simple. Remember, we talked about the different signals it can send. It can send a counter trend or a trend breakout. Well, this example is a counter trend short sell on New Zealand dollar that we took, or I took on the inside the VIP team, but it was also using this exact concept that we're talking about. You can see as price started to break down, we had a counter trend break and price broke through, continuing lower, and this would have been a fantastic trade. And it was a fantastic trade that we actually took inside the VIP team. Next up, we have another example, but this time it's a trend continuation breakout. So we had a continuation of this longer term downtrend that we see here on the chart. Price broke through, and this sort of concept played out very nicely with a trend continuation breakout signal. So let's talk a little bit about the logistics. Not too much required here, but in order to actually operate this, of course, you need a MetaTrader 4 platform that you can run on a computer or VPS. So if you'd like to automatically send updates to your email or MT4, right, you need to actually have this thing running on an MT4 platform, MetaTrader 4 platform. And some people like to have a VPS, but it's not necessarily required, just kind of up to your preferences there. Any amount of trading capital as you see fit. This is not going to, of course, it doesn't require capital because it doesn't take trades for you. So it really doesn't matter how much money you have because you can trade as you see fit anyways. And this tool is just assisting you in finding some high probability setups that could be potential breakouts. Next up, we have patience and adequate trading experience. And I have to put this in here because remember that no matter what, no software is going to be magical. It's not going to do everything for you. At the end of the day, patience and adequate trading experience combined with software is a very powerful thing. Trading software can find great setups. It can help a lot of your trading in the terms of automation. But at the end of the day, you need to have trading experience yourself so that you can effectively actually trade these concepts. So how do you actually get the robot? Well, if I haven't run you off by now and you'd still like a copy of this system is something that my team and I have worked extensively on. We put a lot of time into, and if you'd like to purchase this tool, it is available in the description down below, or you can just go to my website, tradernickfx.com. Also, guys, if this was helpful to you or you enjoyed this concept, make sure you subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. We have all sorts of trading concepts for free to help traders out. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like the tool, again, you can check out the link down below.